Hey friends, it's Neil here from Post to Post. Thanks for joining me today. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I wasn't sure how to go about it because I kind of wanted to do like a top 10 of my favorite sports logos. And then I started looking through all the leagues, and there's obviously the bigger leagues like the NHL and the NBA and the NFL and MLB and stuff. But then there's some other leagues kind of underneath that, the AHL, and as in like minor league baseball, it's got a lot of amazing logos as well. And then there's like other sports like lacrosse, and then there's international leagues and stuff. And so I had a really hard time, like, how am I ever going to come up with my top 10 favorite sports logos? So instead of my top 10, here are just 10 of my favorites, okay? Not necessarily my top 10. And I tried to keep this in the higher leagues, so like those professional top leagues like the NHL, NFL, all that stuff. So I've kind of excluded everything below the top leagues other than the number one here, okay? So I've technically ranked these of the 10, but these aren't my top 10. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. Anyways, let's get into this. Number 10, I put the New York Riptide. Now, some of you may have not even seen this logo before, but even if you haven't, it'll still likely look a little bit familiar. If you know anything about the New York Islanders history, you'll know that this is very close to a kind of thematic that the Islanders used in the fisherman days, as we like to call it. And I think that's why I like this logo so much, because this is their primary current logo, this team, and it reminds me of a nostalgic time for me in hockey. So although this is lacrosse, it's a great way to kind of bring me back in time a little bit in hockey. And I just think in general, it's an awesome logo. I love the colors. You got some teal. You got almost 3 shades of blue. I don't think that's white. I think that's just a really, really desaturated like sky blue in there. The orange complements with all of them so nicely. It's designed very symmetrically. I don't think it's weighted in one side too much. Like the lacrosse stick is going off to the right, so that's technically kind of weighted in the right. But it's just because of the motion of the graphic or design around the top and then the bottom, it almost doesn't need to be balanced. It would be weird if it was balanced in a way. So I like everything about this logo. Like, I like the colors. I don't like text in logos, but honestly, I think that looks fine in there. It's easy to read. I like the font choice. It's good. Let's move on to number 9 in this list, and that's going to be the Arizona Coyote Kachina logo. This is obviously long-standing in my life. You know, I grew up in the mid-90s. I'm kind of used to this brand, and then they went away from it, and now they're kind of coming back to it, which is awesome. I love that. But when I look at this logo, I don't just see a character. I see like meaning, culture, history. It's kind of one of those logos that kind of go outside of design itself. I love what it represents. I love it. It's probably the most busy logo I've ever seen in my life as far as professional team, regardless of sport. But that's the design thematic behind this, and it just totally works. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the fact that there's colors everywhere and there's different shapes everywhere and stuff, and it's very two-dimensional. That's why it's awesome. So this has to be in my list of 10 for sure that we're talking about today. Moving on to number 8, we got the Ottawa RedBlacks, and this is in the Canadian Football League, and this is absolutely likely the most simple logo on my list. And that's why I love it. I love how simple it is. The outside is what looks to be like a crazy like circular saw or something, just ripping stuff up. I love that. The inside just has a little bit of a red circle that's kind of cut up by the black stroke of the R. The R itself has almost some like dynamic lighting going on and stuff. It's just a very simple logo. It looks great on the front of a jersey. It looks great on a t-shirt, on a sweater, everything, a hat. It's just one of those very simplistic logos that is aggressive without a character, and I think that's hard to do. It's aggressive because the way that the R is lit. It's aggressive because of all the, sharp saw textures on the outside. It's great in like every simplistic aspect. Moving on to number 7, we've got the Baltimore Ravens from the NFL. I am a firm believer that there's not enough purple in sports, regardless if it's hockey, football, soccer, basketball, baseball, it doesn't really matter. I don't care the sport. There's not enough teams that use purple or very close to purple as their primary color. And I think that's why I like this logo so much, because it has that missing color that I so desperately want in more brands around the sports world. It does complement okay with that gold, although that's not really my favorite color. You could, if it's not gold, classify it as whatever you want, deep tan, whatever, I don't care. But the colors go well together, also accented with the white and the black of the rest of the colorization, and then that just pop of red in the eye, just for that aggression. Also on the beak of the bird, it's got a bit of a frown or a bit of an angry look, so that's great. I love the expression, the personality of this logo, and it's very modern at the same time. And the bee, although it's very obviously a bee, it almost kind of looks like it could be like a feather or something, or a couple of feathers, or just the general design as well on the head. So I think this was designed all around very, very nicely. I'm a big fan of this one. Number 6, I put the Charlotte Hornets of the NBA. And although it's a little bit awkward because you got stuff shooting out, there's 2 wings up top and then stingers down below, so it's not contained very well, but it's very symmetrical and the colors are so great. A deep blue with, I don't even know if I classify that as teal. It's a very, very rich teal, almost approaching green, but the colors work so well together. The way that the text is displayed, where it's at maybe just a bit of an arc on Hornets, and then the font itself kind of jetties off on either side to kind of mimic the same, stinger pattern, that, that sharp kind of object at the bottom of the Hornet, and then the eyes. Like, that's the defining point for me of this logo, just the eyes, just the dead white eyes, just kind of like the eyebrows pointing in. So I think they did a great job with this logo. Big fan of it. Number 5, the Colorado Avalanche in the NHL. So this is a logo that I'm very, very exposed to. Obviously, this channel primarily talks about hockey, and the Colorado Avalanche were my favorite team for, I think, over 8 years when I was younger, and one of my favorite teams now. So I felt a little bit biased putting it on this list, but I think objectively, this is a fantastic logo. Like, regardless if it's on if you don't like the Colorado Avalanche, I think most people at least really like their logo because it's designed so well. Colorado obviously gets a lot of snow. You can see this here with the kind of avalanche coming down the A, or the mountain, and then swooping around and then over top of the puck. They're called the Avalanche for a reason. It's got a wonderful shape in the background, a bit of a circular shape. It's just, whoever designed this, I don't know who did. I wish I knew the name. I could probably find out, but they just did such a wonderful job. It's modern, the colors are great, and it looks just generally great. All right, moving on. We got the Minnesota Wild from the NHL. This is one of the best professional sports logos of all time. A lot of people don't know that this is the head of a bear. Like, I've told 2 people, actually on the channel, I think, in previous videos, I think maybe on the original channel when we were looking at logos, that this is the head of a bear, and they're like, "What? I didn't know that." So yeah, like, this is, I don't know if you can see it. I've always been, like, I knew it was a bear or a tiger, not a tiger, maybe, I don't know, some kind of cat or something. From day one, my mind just saw it. But other people, they don't see that. They see the little river that goes, which is the mouth. They see the little river. They see some sunsets in the background, and that's kind of all they see. They don't see the eye. They don't see nothing. They just see this shape. They just think it's a shape, and it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. Our minds work in different ways, and I think that's a compliment to this logo. It can kind of work in both ways. It could just be like a random shape that kind of maybe looks like the state outline or a state outline. It's got some themes in there. You've got the trees, you've got the sun and stuff, but it also overall is the shape of the wild, a bear or some kind of creature. Just great. And the colors as well. The colors is just phenomenal. Number 3, I put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of the NFL. I absolutely love the thematic of anything pirate themed. I think they did a wonderful job with the colors here, the way that they have things shaded, the weathered, just torn, just rugged, like gone to pirate war look of the flag. It's just kind of like ripped and stuff on the side. You've got that, got that sword there. Man, and it's got a football aspect in there as well. Like, this is just such a well-designed logo from a thematic perspective. It's not the most balanced. It's very right-weighted because of the sword and stuff, but it looks so good. It just looks so good. The colors look good. Man, so good. Okay, number 2, I put the San Jose Sharks. And I might be a little bit biased, or I might appear biased, rather, to put this on my list as well, because the Sharks are my second favorite team in the NHL. But again, I think objectively, regardless if you like the Sharks or not, most people love this logo. Because it's awesome. It's got the aggression. The shark is literally just biting through an entire hockey stick. The teal and the orange look so good together. The triangle in the background represents the Bay Area, and if you didn't know that, it just looks like a shape in the background that kind of contains everything. The shark's like coming out of it. It's just designed so well. It's got a hockey theme. It's aggressive. It's got a character. It has everything. Like, this logo has everything. It pays respect to everything. It's great. And number 1, which is kind of the outlier in this entire video, because it's not in one of the top leagues, this is my favorite sports logo of all time. So if I was doing a top 10, the rest would be different, but this number 1 would be the same. The Glasgow Clan of the EIHL, which is a hockey league if maybe you don't follow hockey. I love everything about this logo. Purple, which I talked about earlier. We need more purple in branding in sports. You've got a guy on there who looks pissed. He's ready to go to war. He's got a sword, stashed back there, but he's fighting with his hockey stick. There's a hockey element. You can see that kind of Gaelic symbol, whatever thing in the background. I don't even know what that is, but it looks appropriate to that location. You can see kind of that pattern, that Scottish kind of pattern on there. I don't know what you call that either. The text is stylized. It looks great. Like literally everything about this logo is incredible. Like I'm obsessed with this logo. This is so far ahead of everything else. It's not even funny. I don't know. There's just something about it. I just love it. It's just perfect in every way for me. So yeah, there's 10 logos that I absolutely love in the sports world. I would love to know maybe some of yours. Pick some from, maybe if you want to, go down the comment section, pick one from every top sports league, the NHL, the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. Would love to see maybe you, tell me your favorite logos from every league. And if I can muster up the guts, I'll try and do a top 10 maybe in the next couple of months. But for right now, let's just stick with 10 of my favorite sports logos in this video. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button. That definitely helps the channel a lot. And what helps even more is if you subscribe. So if you like sports, if you like sports logos, jerseys, talking about branding in general, would love to have you on board here. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.